Yo, 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 and welcome back to Creeps and Crimes
podcast.
Oh my God. I just
Whoopsie daisy.
threw the mouse down. Okay.
I'm Morgan.
I'm Taylar.
Happy Thursday and happy episode 215. Are we good over there?
No, we're good. Is it 215?
I think.
Ooh, I like that number.
215.
I don't know why. I don't know why I like it, but I like
a
it.
nice quarterly number.
Yeah, it's like
15's not a quarter.
It's not an even number, but it's kind of like an even number.
It's a perfect odd
like
number.
five. Yeah, because like I like fives a lot.
Yeah, I get that.
I like twos.
Aesthetic.
I like fives. I don't like fours as much as I like twos. Just because I realized, because I've been doing this app that's like brain games that you do like once a day and you get a streak.
We're about to hit episode 222.
Yeah.
Like probably Christmas.
I marked it on the calendar for us, and I gave
Christmas?
us 2 weeks ahead of time. I don't know. I can't remember. I want to say it's in like
It'd be 7 weeks from now.
Here, I'll pull it up real quick because I just did it.
Maybe
literally.
the first of the year.
Oh no, it literally comes out on Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it literally comes out on Christmas. Yeah, that's right.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, it comes out on the day after Christmas, but basically on fucking Christmas. Yeah.
Christmas is so weird this year.
Christmas
the fact
on a
that it's on a
Tuesday.
Wednesday or
I'm sorry, it's on a Wednesday. Christmas Eve is on a Tuesday.
Yeah, I don't really know if we're going to be venturing home for that one this year.
I'm like,
It's just, it doesn't make sense for us. We both would have to take at least Monday, Tuesday off and then drive on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Or because we can't take the whole week, or we take Thursday, Friday, and then we drive Christmas Eve, miss Christmas Eve.
right, and that's
Just
like the
doesn't
best
make
part.
sense.
Yeah.
And Aaron's not really on board with me yet, but like my sister's not coming home, my brother's not coming home. I don't really
You could host
see-
Christmas at your house.
Yeah, I don't really see a need for it.
Yeah.
To be honest. Like
So-
I would rather just do our own Christmas this year, save the money, and not worry
have to
about
go
it.
home. Yeah.
Truthfully.
Yeah, I would probably do the same.
Yeah, especially because our Thanksgiving, it's always just so like exhausting because he goes to bear camp the week before,
Yeah.
and then I gotta drive out there all by myself, and I hate that.
By the way, we're recording
Anyway.
this on Tuesday.
It's election
It's
day.
election day.
in the United States of America, November 5th, 2024.
And we both just went and voted. I hope you guys went and voted too. I know we
too.
didn't catch you beforehand, but we literally did talk to you on the Tuesday.
Well, if you didn't get 450,000 text messages to your phone
Then what are
telling
you
you to
doing?
vote, then
What
I
are
don't
you
know where
doing?
they're.
I don't know. I don't
Are
know.
you even an American
do we
citizen?
need to
that
fucking
can vote
harass
right now?
you in addition to the text messages that you're getting that are semi-threatening? Like,
No, literally.
like, don't worry, guys. I promise I was planning on going to vote no matter what. Like,
Yeah.
so obviously when you're hearing this, we are in the past and you are in the future. So I hope the future looks bright.
Yeah.
And until then,
And if chaos ensued,
don't worry. You have
we don't know about it.
Yeah, and you have a little episode with us to be blissfully unaware together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
'Cause that's what we do best.
That's literally where we thrive. So, Morgan, I have watched the majority of Agatha All Along.
So proud of you.
And I must say, it has put a fucking spell on me.
Yeah.
I love it.
Down the road.
Oh my God.
down
I was
the
like, is that
witch's
a fucking song that I can listen to like on repeat?
It's on Spotify.
Okay, thank God. We finally started watching it on Saturday. We literally binged the second we walked out of our offices yesterday on Monday, went downstairs on the couch, cooked dinner, he worked out, got back home, ate the dinner, binged the shit.
You know, I must say I'm glad that you like it, but I'm happier that Logan liked it because remember he was shitting on it. I'm
Yeah,
not
he
watching.
was.
It's
I
gonna
heard
suck.
it's stupid. Well, he keeps saying the entire time, like every episode, he makes at least 2 comments under his breath. This is in the multiverse of Iron Man and the Hulk.
He's
Like he
mine.
just keeps like having to like check in with himself.
So did you know that there's no CGI in this episode
The ripping,
of the curtain?
I was like, that was so iconic.
Yeah, and they like basically think of like a giant football field, and that's what they made the road out of.
Oh
Like in
my
real life. So
God.
like these characters or these actors were getting to walk the set like entirely.
That's so
instead of
fun.
just having a green screen.
That's so cool. I really
It's
love that.
the cheapest Marvel production ever.
I mean, and it doesn't really look like it.
Not at all, yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Like there's some,
I mean, there's CGI for like powers, obviously.
right, of course.
But also, you'll see at the
but
end
it's like worth it because
that it kind of
it's
just
because
works
time
with it.
isn't real, and like it's also off the back of WandaVision. So
Exactly.
are you kidding me? What the fuck is real and what's
like
not?
reality isn't even
That
there.
doesn't even exist. Anyways, we've been watching it, and I'm
So do you know who
beyond.
Teen is?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I don't even want to. We won't give any spoilers. We're gonna give you. Okay, get this. We will give you 2 weeks to go finish it, and then we're gonna have a spoilers talk about it.
Yeah, I have to.
Yeah, like I've got to talk. I need to talk through a lot of it. But I got in the shower last night after watching up to the the Halloween episode that came out. Then I was like, let's stop. Let's save it for tomorrow so we can binge a little bit tomorrow after I'm done recording. That would literally be the best day of my fucking life.
So you're gonna finish it tonight?
I am. So the rock session. Okay. You know what I'm referring to? The play like a witch line. I was like, oh my God, that is like what I need to channel. Like that's what I needed to hear right now in my life. So I woke up this morning at 7:00 to Logan putting on his hat and his shoes in front of the bed and, you know, having every light on and like talking out loud and listening to a podcast and doing all the things as loud as possible, saying like, all right, I'm going to go get in line to go vote. And I was like, oh my God, what fucking time is it? Are they even open? Like, what are you doing?
Like, are you on the Witch's Road right now?
And like, I opened, you know, like got my eyes open and sat up, and he like brought me my coffee before he left. So I'm sitting there drinking my coffee, and like the first sip of coffee I had, I was like, I need to go upstairs and like type on my computer like a fucking witch. Like that's what I need to do. So that's the level of craziness and power you have behind my case today. Just so everyone is aware.
I love that.
Exactly why Unfinished Notes already, let you know it's going to be a 2-parter at 27 pages.
Well, good, because I have a short case, so that works out great.
We might even get to go farther than initially planned for me then, because I'm very excited about it. So that is what I'm going to be living by for the next 2 months.
Wait, who is your favorite on the road? Who's your favorite of the coven?
Oh my God, I wanted okay, here's another thing I want. So wait, let's hold this, because I
need to know right now.
I could tell you off mic, but I want to save it because the spoiler episode that we do, I want me and you to go through and list, because you know there's like certain witches that you have to bring to make your coven and to go on the thing. I want to say who we would pick and who we'd think, and like if we had to form a coven, who we'd pick for those.
Perfect. We do have a little shindig we're going to on Saturday. We're excited for.
I am really excited.
Lexi and Celia got a house. We're having a housewarming party.
Yep. And they fucking know how to do it.
Yeah. Oh, please. They're going to deliver.
They know how to do it. So we're very excited about that. And Morgan went to a football game this weekend.
I did. Yep. Oh my God. I forgot what it was like to be in Neyland. Yeah. And I was like, fuck, I can't believe that I haven't been here in 3 or 4 years. Like that, it just made me so sad. Yeah. And I was like, I love it. And they fucking put like their artists, the band, the Pride of the Southland band.
If you don't know who the Pride of the Southland band is,
I'm sorry, best band in America.
I'm sorry.
I'm going there.
Fight a bitch over the Pride of the Southland. I'm not shitting you. Okay? I'll go to every competition.
I mean, it was cool. Like just like what they were able to do with the lights. They had their caps lit up. Like it was really fucking cool.
They're so
I was waiting. I was ready for halftime because I needed to know what they did, and they did the Kiss theme.
So good. Yeah. So good.
It was a lot of fun. And then we were upper bowl, like high up, but we were right by the boxes, like the pole that separates. Yeah. Like, we were on those end seats. Yeah. And so when we left, because it was like fourth quarter, it was late as fuck because there was 40,000 timeouts being called.
No, it was the latest game ever.
And so we were like, oh, we're ready to fucking go. Also, Madison had convinced me that it would be okay for me to park on a yellow line. And so I was nervous the whole game. So I kept tracking my car to make sure it was still on Clinch Avenue. It was. Never got towed. They're like, yeah, we parked here every game, never got towed. I'm like, you guys are fucking risky.
You guys are crazy.
Because we were about to pull into Locust Street Garage and they called us. They're like, there's a spot behind us. So we like back out of the garage, go over to the road, park. And I'm like, guys, this is a yellow line. Oh yeah, no, it's fine. I'm like, no, I just saw a tow truck up by the hill.
Literally, I
know it's not fine.
And I know they will definitely come for me.
So anyway, so we left and we were leaving. There's the ramp on that upper bowl is fucking forever. Yeah. Like it'll take you 20 minutes just to get out of the stadium. The little door to the club was cracked open.
Hell yeah.
I was like, fuck no, we're going down. That. So we go over in that staircase and I see the door to the elevator is open and the elevator attendant just sitting there in her chair. I'm like, we're coming. Hold it, babes. Took the elevator down from top bowl, like one of the top rows.
So perfect.
2 minutes to get out of the stadium.
So good.
It was pure luck.
That's amazing. So nice. That's nice.
Yeah, it was a good time.
All right. Alrighty. We'll hit you with it.
If you're driving, throw that shit on cruise control.
If you got a glass, pour that shit up.
And let's get creepy.
Okay, Morgan, what do you have for us today?
I am covering the Augustine Steward House in Norwich. Woo!
Oh, no,
Jumping over the pond today.
Yeah.
All right. So the Augustine Steward was born into this very like upcoming semi-wealthy, but not really at his birth, merchant family in Norwich. Though his exact birth date is not clear, probably early 1500s.
Oh Jesus,
we're maybe late 1400s. Yeah, bro, this is a long time ago.
Way back.
He was raised in the parish of St. George's Tombland in Norwich, and he was the son of Geoffrey Steward and his wife Cicely. Love that name.
I love the name Cicely.
Me too. Augustine was married twice. First to Alice, who was the daughter of Henry Rebs, Esquire of Hevingham, and they had 3 children: Edward, Faith, and Elizabeth. And then he remarried another woman named Elizabeth, who was the daughter of William Reed, Esquire of Beccles Manor, Suffolk.
Okay.
Very wealthy.
Very wealthy.
And the 2 of them had 6 daughters and 2 sons. So
love
all
that.
in all, he had 6, 2, 8 plus 3, 11 kids.
Yes.
And all of these children with Elizabeth ended up marrying like really, really well. If you look at the family tree, it's like son William marries daughter of
so and so
who was the son of, like, it's crazy. Everyone's got fucking titles.
I hate those Wikipedia pages because I'm like, I have
no idea what you're saying. Same. I was trying to break it down. I actually even copy and pasted into ChatGPT. I said, can you explain this to me?
Literally.
And it had no idea what I was talking about.
No, because like you on those like Wikipedia pages, when you're doing like something that's so historical that it's like highly documented, and they have so many like titles. You've got to literally go, and the whole page is blue. So it's like every sentence you're just kind of getting that little semi thing that comes up and gives you the blurb on every single person. That was me when I was doing my TBB.
Yeah. It's fucking hard.
That you guys won't hear until fucking December.
So forever. So their children's names were William, Thomas, Elizabeth again. So now he has 2 daughters named Elizabeth and a wife Elizabeth. Cycly, I don't know how to say that. Anne, Mary, Barbara, and Catherine.
Lots of girls.
Girl dad. 9 girls, 2 boys.
Wow.
You know, the boys were their favorite and the girls just fucking worked around the house.
No, the girls probably just were like, give me all your money, bitch.
Yeah. By the 1540s, he had established himself as a pretty successful merchant in the area, and he was really known for trading goods like wool. And at the time, this was a major industry in the Norfolk area. Because of how wealthy he was, it was allowed him to influence a lot of people that put him into the city's political life. So then he became this huge political figure in the very small town. And I said Norfolk, it's Norwich. I put Suffolk.
I was wondering where Norfolk came from.
I put Suffolk and Norfolk together, typing clearly.
And isn't Norfolk in Virginia?
Norfolk is in Virginia.
Yeah, it is.
That's something else. Yeah. No, this is Norwich over in the pond, UK, England. Okay. You get it.
UK, England, across the pond.
Y'all get it.
Yeah. We've had one drink.
Yeah. I'm drinking a Good Boy.
I'm drinking a wine. I don't know what it is.
You ever had this?
No.
It's like a twisted tea for adults.
Oh, twisted tea for adults.
Yeah,
because twisted teas are for kids.
It's a golfer that Aaron loves. John Daly.
Oh yeah,
something like that.
I just know his name. Daly.
John Daly. I think that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so pretty quickly, Augustine became like notorious in the local government. He was the mayor of the city 3 times: 1549, 1556, and 1562. So he of Norfolk.
Of Norfolk.
Of Norwich. And he was also heavily involved in the civic administration, as well as like the whatever their non-local government is, but like this regional government. I don't know how titles and shit goes there.
Yeah, me either.
As mayor, he was responsible for, overseeing the city laws, trade, and public services, but this allowed him to create huge relationships with the crown.
Ooh.
And the crown loved him.
I'm sure they did.
Yeah, he was a big shot. Hot shot. Big deal. What is wrong with me?
He's a big dick.
He's got big dick energy. So during his time in office, he was one of the wealthiest people in Norwich. And I'm so sorry, I cannot read.
Did you type Norfolk through the whole thing?
The whole thing. It says Norfolk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So during his time in office, Norwich was one of the wealthiest and most important cities in England. And again, this was brought by the textile industry, which he played a huge role in. So he brought this town to light, basically, to the crown, which is why the crown loved him. As mayor, with his wealth, he created this high social status, and he used this position to advance his business interests, especially in the wool trade, bringing a lot more people to his little town. And this was not uncommon for wealthy merchants like him to do so. Also, because he served in this leadership role as mayor, he had the resources and the influences to manage both. In the mid-1500s, he built the house that would come to bear his name, the Steward House. The Augustine Steward House was constructed around 1549, though its like exact time that it was built is also unknown, but it was located in a prime spot along the old Saxon marketplace, directly across from the Norwich Cathedral. It was designed as both a home and a business space, with the ground floor being used as a shop for work, and then the upper floors as like living quarters. Again, he's got 11 kids.
Yeah. How big is that upper quarters?
I don't know.
Like, yeah.
Do you have at least 5 bedrooms?
Do you have at least 2 levels that you can operate on?
Yeah, exactly.
Because what?
This is a 3-story home, because that's a lot of people.
Yeah, seriously. And then, so technically a 4-story home. So you own the whole building.
Yeah.
Let's just put it like that.
But this layout, like mixing work and like lifestyle into home, was very common with wealthy people, where they would make that first floor work. That way they would live there.
That would be it is. I currently do that.
You do that.
But like, you know what I mean? Like if it was down into an office.
Yeah. The house was placed in a strategic location near Tombland Alley. Tomb or Tome?
Tomb. Tomb.
Tombland. Okay.
Suspect thinks that the word is tomb.
Tombland Alley. And this was like the hub of trade. So like he placed his house in a fucking perfect spot, only making him more prosperous, more money, the richest man in the city.
Hell yeah.
But despite what that name might suggest, because it is called Tombland, it doesn't have anything to do with tombs, even though it's called that.
Oh, so there's nothing like
it just comes from this old like Saxon word meaning open space. Because I looked that up. I'm like, why would a street be called
seriously
Tombland? And it just means-
I love that little path you went down right there. That is what I like to hear. Those are the questions that I am asking.
Yeah, like why is it called that?
Like why would we have this name? So are there tombs underneath that?
Yeah, exactly. No, it just means open space. So like I said, some debate does exist about the exact year that the house was built, but some historians suggest that it was probably slightly earlier than 1549 or around the 1550s. But if you look at the house straight on, I kind of want you to Google search it if you have your phone on you, because I did not paste a picture in here. It's got a little crooked appearance.
Oh,
it kind of gives the Leaning Tower of Norwich.
What is it called? Augustine
Steward House. Every other townhome is like straight.
Hold on, it's giving me fucking Zillow links. 1 sec. Oh wait, and Logan's calling me.
All of a sudden it's up for buy.
The can did you just call in the middle of an episode and ask who the can opener is?
Is that your wine thing?
No, the can opener is in the drawer underneath the utensils drawer, because it doesn't fit in that one and it jams it every time I open it. So I just moved it down a drawer, bitch. Is that okay with you, drawer police? Love you, bye.
Not the drawer police.
I'm getting harassed and interrogated.
All I ever get yelled. Do you know my most? Why can't I talk? The reason I get yelled at the most in the house is because I don't put things back where I got them.
Guess who determines where the fuck shit goes?
Me,
bitch.
Exactly. That's why if you ask where are the nail clippers, I will tell you exactly where they are. They're under the corner of the rolled up washcloths on the jewelry tray.
Exactly.
And he'll say, why aren't they in the drawer? And I'll say,
that's not where they go now.
That's where I left them, and I know exactly where I left it.
I remember everything.
I get yelled at the most because of that.
Okay, I got a picture of it.
A little crooked.
Ripley's.
Believe it or not,
right
you're
now.
in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, about to enter Ripley's. It looks
like a mix of Gatlinburg and Helen, Georgia, to be quite honest. But
yeah, it does. So it's got a little fucking crooked appearance. We'll post a picture on.
Is there
Instagram.
a reason? Was that like built that way?
Yeah, it was just like
so that's like if me and Morgan were the contractors on that.
They probably self-built that. richest man, and that's what you got.
That's how you stay rich, babes.
Yeah,
take note.
Little wobbly.
Can you imagine? You know, like how back then it was like a sign of your wealth that you worked above. They would shit a brick knowing that we all work from home. Like that everyone's
rich
in the world.
We all got titles.
We all have titles.
Home, WFH, Taylar Fetzner, WFH.
Esquire. Since everyone's got that title, seems like they've just been handing it out for free.
Yeah. Okay, so naturally with a building with such an odd appearance, it's got a really dark, crooked past that matches the front of the home. I'm talking plague, cannibalism, and of course, hauntings.
Oh shit, bitch.
The trifecta? The new trifecta?
Yeah.
In August of 1578, Queen Elizabeth I visited Norwich with a grand like entourage of 2,000 people from the crown.
How were y'all all getting there?
That's my question too.
How were you getting there?
Horse and wagon.
Do you have a church bus or what?
I have no idea.
The double decks?
They probably fucking walked. An entourage, they probably walked.
2,000 people.
Like, I would be scared if I was upstairs just doodling with my wool or like textile on my spindle.
Yeah. And you see a
entourage of the queen in her carriage,
2,000. There's
at
not even
least
enough
500 horses, probably. But you don't
think
have
about that.
Yeah.
Where were these people sleeping at?
Right. Anyway, so Queen Elizabeth I comes to Norwich with her entourage of 2,000 fucking people, and the city was hype. They spared no effort in preparing for this royal visit. They had elaborate performances, dances, speeches. They redecorated the entire bishop's palace for her. And this is where the queen would stay. Now, where the 2,000 people would stay, probably on the streets of the tombs.
Yeah.
The tombs.
They were living in the tombs. They were living in the tombs.
They were living in the tombs, the tombs, whatever the fuck it is. The welcome party had 60 of Norwich's most handsome men dressed in black satin.
Who voted on that?
Satin. You know
Satin.
who voted on satin? The textile king.
Yeah, you know he did.
Probably Augustine Stewart.
But who voted for these men, and how did we determine that they were the most eligible bachelors?
The most eligible bachelors.
That's
and also, was the
know.
queen like looking to get married at this time?
And why are they showing off all these men? I guess since these are 2,000 people from the crown, you're like, we want that connection to the crown. So, sir, like, get ready.
Get our best men out.
Yeah, put them in the fucking satin.
Everyone's gay. Start sleeping with those men.
Exactly. Everyone here is gay. In the club, we all fam.
In the club, we all fam. Okay. The city they're so kind that they went to the extent of clearing all of the like executions off the street. So like they were so kind for Queen Elizabeth's
that
arrival.
Is so thoughtful.
That they were like, let's remove the dismembered heads that in the hanging bodies.
We should probably clean that up before she gets here.
Yeah, so they wanted to really obviously they were trying to make a fucking impression on Queen Elizabeth.
It's like when your mom texts you that she's coming and you have to like clean out
the bodies,
get the bodies away, rearrange the whole house, fold the towels a new way, like please.
All of this to say the town was like fucking pumped, right? They were partying for days and days and days until the queen
Nobody
left.
worked back then.
And so once the queen departed, disaster fucking struck.
I'm sure it did.
Because you just brought 2,000 people, unvaccinated people, to Norwich. And now this is also a conspiracy because some people believe that this, like, what are the odds that the queen comes and this new plague disperses out as soon as she leaves and that no one from the crown is sick, but this entire town gets fucking wrecked by the plague? But that's a conspiracy theory in itself that people are like, the queen brought it.
Well,
just saying.
I mean, probably.
But the queen probably did bring it, maybe unnowingly. You brought 2,000 people.
You brought 2,000. Did you test? Did you COVID test all of them?
You had your 60 eligible bachelors. You guys were
drinking,
partying. You were getting rid of the dead bodies that were probably on the street for how long?
They're like, we don't know where this plague came from.
You were in satin.
You were
having sex because you were in satin.
You were having sex. You were taking down dead bodies that you had executed in the streets. Like, there's a lot of exposures here, babes.
So the plague breaks out, sweeps through the city, claims the lives of almost 4,800 residents, which is estimated to be about 70 to 80% of the entire population of Norwich.
Right.
But as the death tolls rose, they started opening plague pits from earlier outbreaks where they were disposing of the bodies. And one by one, the residents of the Augustine Steward House had succumbed to the disease.
Oh no.
Including Augustine Steward. And the bailiffs were going around the street and they kind of were just deciding like, once you were infected, you were fucking dead.
Oh.
So if someone in the house is infected and maybe like he had 11 children, maybe one person was infected, even though they all ended up getting married and they weren't there.
Yeah.
But some might have been. We don't know. They would basically be like, oh, Taylor's sick. Could just be a cold, but possibly the plague. We're going to board you up. And they would lock, bolt, and board up every single house to prevent further spread of the plague. So you couldn't come out even if you were healthy and you were starving. And this was for weeks, sometimes months. And this was their way of stopping. This was their, not containment.
That was their
quarantine. So this was really common with a lot of the houses in the town. Everyone was getting boarded up. If you weren't dying of the plague, you were dying of starvation. And like that was really just it. So what was a city of these royal festivities, everyone fucking partying and having the time of their lives, was quickly transformed within days to this place of death and tragedy.
Yeah, and another thing is they don't even take out the bodies whenever you died until everyone dies in the house. So you're just like, maybe you're not sick, you're starving, and you're sitting there with dead fucking bodies.
Yeah. About a month later, the bailiffs went around and they reopened the houses to remove the bodies, only to find a horrific sight in the Augustine Steward House.
What?
Many of the bodies appeared in the home to have these strange marks on them. In fact, they looked just like teeth marks, and like bites of flesh were missing from some of the limbs.
Okay.
And after a closer look, at first they were like rats.
Rats has to be.
It's the 1500s. Rats everywhere.
I mean, they're all living right on top of each other. There's rats.
But after a closer look, they realized that this was not the doing of a rat or even multiple rats, that these were the work of a young girl or woman, we don't know her age, that was living in the house, because she was the only one that didn't have bite marks on her. That part of the story varies.
Okay.
And so does this part. They believe that, so everyone in the house was dead, but this little girl was the only one without bite marks. Some say that she died with flesh like in her mouth.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Like she choked on her own father and mother's
flesh. My God.
If that was the case. But also, we don't know how old she was. Like the reports of the spirit say she was probably like 6 or 7. Like, that's like the vibe her spirit gives. Right. Also, like, what are you supposed to do when you're starving?
And you're a baby.
And you're alone. Yeah. And everyone else has died.
And like, I categorize babies as like 13.
Me too.
That's a baby.
That's a baby. That's a little baby.
You literally, you could survive on your own if you had to, but like, majority would probably not.
But other accounts say that it was just rats and that she died of starvation. So we're not sure. That's just like the rumor mill.
And there's probably just like the morbidity of it, where it's like, it sounds better for the story if we say she died with her mother's flesh in her mouth.
Exactly. There are 2 main ghosts in the Augustine Steward House. The first ghost is this one of this little girl that we're talking about, believed to be the spirit of the girl who may or may not have eaten her parents, but ultimately died as a result of being boarded up during the plague. She's believed to be a really playful spirit. She loves to play jokes on people. She also is like super smart, can open doors, drawers. Like she's very like high energy. Yeah. The second spirit is that of the lady in gray. Also, some accounts new color, new girl unlocked.
Holy shit.
Some people also say that the child is the same spirit as lady in gray, but there's accounts that like, no, this is a child spirit and the lady in gray is like an older woman. We're unsure of who this is. Most people believe that she had to have some sort of connection to the Stewart house or died in the Stewart house during the plague, as in maybe the wife or the seamstress or the housekeeper, etc. Right. And because the plague literally wiped out 75% of the population, that's probably a good guess that she died during this time. The lady in gray is seen on the streets outside the home, and in the house next door. All reports say that she floats, but she floats with no legs. So she's the lady in gray but has no legs. Okay. Many believe it could have been the mother of the young spirit if the flesh was, well,
got you. She also could be in a dress and you guys just can't see her legs.
Right. She also could choose to like, maybe that's her insecurity. And
she's maybe like, she just doesn't like
or
her
maybe
ankles.
she had great legs and she was hounded by the 60 eligible bachelors. She was like, fuck you guys, no one's seeing my legs.
No one will ever see my legs again. In history, it's a curse.
Period. She's more of a residual spirit, always sort of wandering. She's actually seen the most often. Next door, currently, there is a nightclub, and at some point in the 90s, this DJ like heard some like really strange sounds out back, so he went out to investigate, and he reportedly saw this like phantom figure in gray ragged clothes, and when he looked closer he realized that she had no legs and she was very clearly in distress. Like he could see her face, but she was almost like transparent, and ended up just vanishing. Unfortunately for both of these souls, this lady in gray and the young girl, it's kind of sad, but I'm not sure that they will ever get to rest, because today, currently, underneath the Augustine Steward House is an escape room. And the theme is, it's literally called Haunted.
Oh, no.
And the entire point is to literally ghost hunt.
So they're just getting harassed.
They're getting harassed. Like this is the description of this room on the escape room's website. Here is a house on Tombland, Norwich, where only the bravest or the most foolish deign to enter, and those that do never return. This place has a terrible secret, one which has long been only whispered of in careful voices late at night, round the campfire, or where a safe warm bed to hide is only a moment away. Long ago, in a time of death and plague, a little girl found herself all alone, trapped completely within what used to be her home. Her mother and father had already joined the angels. No such blessing was bestowed upon this unfortunate wretch. Sick with hunger and cold, terrified to see her own poor body rotting with malady around her, she discovered a nightmarish reality. Her anguished spirit, unable to pass peacefully to the other side. This is your objective. It now falls to you and your team of intrepid ghost hunters to enter the domain of this tormented soul and seek out the mysterious truth behind her eternal imprisonment. Perhaps, furnished with these secrets, you may find a way to exorcise and destroy the evil spirit once and for all. Or maybe, just maybe, you might be able to help this little lost girl find her way.
And there's no fucking telling what people go in there and say, and like what the script has you saying in like Latin and shit. And if you didn't know, words have meaning, babes.
Literally, you're probably fucking tormenting her.
Yeah, like locking her
like
in.
This story this wretch
that you have.
It's
wretch?
2024. You're calling this little girl a wretch.
A wretch.
Unfortunate wretch.
Get a grip.
No, it's fucking cruel. Like, it's actually really sad. Like, I feel bad for them.
Like
I want to go.
Honestly, like
I want to go to clear them out so that they can no longer be tormented by these people.
All right, guys, let's band together and cancel them and get. I'm just kidding.
No, but like, it's sad.
I would never do that. But like, that's really upsetting.
Yeah.
Like, I just would want to go and be like, do you realize what you're doing to this? And it's probably people that don't believe in spirits.
100%. So that's the Augustine Steward House ghost. But another weird thing that I found about the house was that it housed the 1549 Kett's Rebellion group.
Oh.
So the 1549 Kett's Rebellion was a protest in England, mainly by like your common everyday people against unfair treatment by the government and landowners. And it happened in, did I say Norfolk again?
I don't know.
Norwich. At the time, many wealthy landowners were taking land from poor farmers and turning it into sheep farms, which then caused food shortages, higher rents for local people, higher trade value to buy produce and meats and whatnot. So there's this guy named Robert Kett who was a farmer, became the leader of the rebellion. He gathered this large group of angry, like common day people to march to Norwich, demand the government to fix things like the high rents, the unfair taxes, the land enclosures. And this rebellion just grew bigger and bigger and bigger. And the protesters set up camp and held a big meeting in Norwich. However, during this time, when they were having their meeting, they weren't even like fighting. The government sent an army to stop them. And it broke out this like huge rebellion fight.
I'm sure it did.
Kett and his followers were defeated, and Kett was arrested, and many of the rebels were punished, most of them executed.
Yeah.
So now, one of the most notorious people from the Kett's rebellion was a man named Lord Sheffield. He was this English nobleman that fought in the rebellion, and during battle he was stabbed, and so other members of the rebellion rushed him to this nearby inn for treatment. And the inn is now called the Adam and Eve pub. Like, that is what it is today, and it's super haunted as well.
Ooh.
Which is something else we could get into. But he died that day at the inn, and his said to still inhabit the pub today. He's apparently really friendly, and you know, is most likely, they say that he just like rings the tavern bell when the pub is empty, and they like joke like he's always ready for another round.
Yeah,
like, let's go.
Come on, motherfuckers.
But what's interesting about Lord Sheffield is that he's one of the most notorious ghosts in the town of Norwich. He haunts an entire different area from the Augustine Steward House, but during the time of the rebellion, he lived at the Augustine Steward House because they housed majority of the rebellion members.
Oh my God.
Isn't that kind of weird?
That makes sense that he would go back there.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
no. He's not. He doesn't haunt the house at all.
Oh, but he's
haunts
tied
the
to
pub.
it.
But
So
yeah,
it's like
was
that house is
he's
like a-
yeah, he's like another
Yeah.
notorious ghost in the area because it's a small town.
Who
There's
has
not many
connections.
and he's lived at the Augustine house like while he was dying, basically. Like, he was living there during the rebellion, died in a war, went to the inn, died at the inn.
Isn't
crazy. That weird?
That's really crazy.
Anyway, that's my little story on. Sorry, I can't speak.
I have a request.
Yeah.
For next week. Well, that or an inn. There is these little bitty.
I know, I see them.
Fruit. I just got sprayed for them, so I'm sure they're like exiting.
For sure.
But
a haunted inn.
An inn, like a haunted inn. Like, well, a pub, an inn, like something that's like, I just feel like inns are haunted.
Yeah. Well, that's because they were hospitals and stuff for like.
Yeah.
So everyone died there.
Everyone was dying there. So that's what I'm.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So that's my thank you for the request. I will deliver. It's honestly a fucking sad ghost story because I feel bad for the spirits today, but then There's my little fun fact at the end.
Yeah, but I really liked
Lord
it.
Sheffield. Thanks.
I love a good history haunting.
Sorry I couldn't speak. But
sorry that we had wondering and
sorry
we don't
that
know how
I
to
literally wrote Norfolk, Virginia everywhere in my notes. It's actually sad.
Well, I have to tell you that I haven't even finished that glass of wine, and
I'm literally
I can't see
my these muscles. Like it's embarrassing.
No, my face is hot. Like,
yeah, same.
How am I gonna read? I don't know.
Yeah, my lips are dry.
Yeah, my lips are cracking together. Yeah.
All
so
right. What do you have for us
We
today?
don't got it like we used to, but I do got a case for you today. All right.
Creeps and Crimes is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Hey Morgan, thank you.
Hey Taylar, thank you.
This month we are the CEOs of gratitude.
But if there's one person that we don't show enough gratitude in this world, it's ourselves. So a quick thank you to me from me.
Thank you to me from me. Sometimes when life is completely out of control and super stressful, like it has been for me and Morgan in this last year, as you guys know, it's really hard to slow yourself down enough in the midst of it all and think about like, hey, how much work is my mind, body, and spirit putting in to keep me afloat right now?
And if you struggle like us to show yourself gratitude and grace and leniency, then therapy can help.
What my time in therapy taught me were valuable coping skills and ways to set boundaries with not only other people, but myself. It made me feel empowered and as if someone had just handed me this magic toolbox of things that would help me understand my brain.
If you're thinking of starting therapy, then give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient. It's flexible and suited to your schedule.
Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge.
So let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/creepscrimes today to get 10% off your first month.
That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/creepscrimes. Give therapy a try with BetterHelp. Okay. So the case I have for you today is one that even Logan was obsessed with. And I need a drink of water because I just pounded some peanut butter pretzels that would murder Morgan.
Drink of water grabs
water grabs the wine. Don't have water.
Don't have water. Water into wine. Wine into water.
This is Jesus' water.
Exactly.
Amen.
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 And hallelujah.
Mm-hmm. That's what I've always done.
We're never drinking again.
No, we're never drinking again. It's election day. What else? Okay. So this is the case of Sherri Rasmussen. Sherri Rasmussen was born on February 7th, 1957 in Walla Walla County, Washington to Nels and Loretta Rasmussen. She was their second of 3 daughters. She had an older sister named Teresa and a younger sister named Connie. So it was Teresa, Sherri, and Connie.
Love the name Connie.
So cute. Sherri was raised in the San Fernando Valley and was described to be the most kind and gentle soul. Sherri, along with her sisters, were absolutely stunning, super tall models.
Love that.
And like, there's this, like the main picture that you'll see going around of Sherri, and I'll post it whenever the episode comes out. She looks like Selena Gomez.
Oh, I'm looking her up.
Yeah, look her up right now. She looks like Selena Gomez. They were just absolutely stunning and tall and gorgeous. And they had the most amazing home life and like childhood. Like their parents were so awesome. Just a beautiful upbringing. Nels, her father, was a doctor and Sherri wanted to follow in her father's footsteps. She was incredibly passionate about helping others and was honestly born with the decorum and bedside manner of the very best surgeons and doctors you've ever met in your life. She was also an incredible athlete. She was 6 foot tall, quick thinking and strong. She was super intelligent, like skips 2 grades, graduates high school, and immediately enrolls in college at 16.
Holy
type
shit.
of intelligent. Sherri attended Loma Linda University for her undergrad, graduating at just 20 years old. And by the age of 23, she received her master's in nursing from UCLA.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Go girl.
Quick side note though, as I kind of mentioned earlier, she originally wanted to be a doctor like her father, but more so than that, she really, really wanted to be a mom. She wanted this like big, close-knit family just like her own. And so after graduating, instead of going to med school like she originally had planned and like had accepted, like been accepted to several, she decided that nursing was going to be more suitable for the family life that she wanted in her life. Well, after graduating and getting only a few years of nursing under her belt, because this is literally Queen Sherri that we're talking about,
right,
she was very quickly promoted to be the management director of clinical care nursing at Glendale Adventist Hospital in Glendale, California at the age of 27.
Wow.
Wow. That's us.
That's someone I would trust with my life.
Let me tell you. Yeah, exactly. And that same year, which was 1984, at the age of 27, she met a man named John Rutan. John was born and raised in San Diego and had also attended UCLA to get his mechanical engineering degree as an undergrad. He was also very tall, athletic, and strong, who some reports say played basketball at UCLA, but I've not, couldn't confirm that anywhere. So
okay,
I don't know how real that is. He was a fitness fanatic and a super good athlete. Maybe he had a few offers for basketball, but I don't know if he actually played. Either way, John was a super good guy. Everyone loved him, but especially everyone in Sherri's life, because these two were sparks flying.
Love that.
Perfect match. They had so much in common, both gentle souls, athletes that really prioritized their health and fitness. They were both intelligent. They both wanted big and close-knit families and were incredibly passionate about their careers. So it was no surprise that they fell in love in this whirlwind romance. They knew exactly what they wanted in life, and they knew that each other was a part of that story from the second they met each other. So in typical Queen Sherri fashion, they get engaged within the first year of dating and married just months later in November of 1985. She's not in the 1800s. 1985. John and Sherri moved into Sherri's condo that she owned together on Balboa Boulevard. And this condo is one that Sherri and her parents had handpicked for her to buy right after she graduated and started working. And the reason that they chose this specific location was because it was gated. It was in a super safe area that had incredibly low crime rates compared to other LA suburbs, which is incredibly important and was incredibly important to Sherri's father, Nels, for all of his daughters to live somewhere that he considered and deemed safe in LA, especially in the 80s, because how many cases?
Right.
Probably so half of our catalog.
Peak serial killer area as well.
80s in LA, good luck. Countless people.
Or have some tie to Los Angeles.
Exactly. And so this girl dad, he wasn't risking it, babe. He wasn't. It was absolute king shit. It also helped that these were the cutest townhomes ever. They were white 3-story mock Tudor buildings with the garage as the entrance on the ground floor, with the driveway that you would drive up to the garage and would open up. And then from the outside looking at it, if you're standing in the driveway, you see the garage, and then right above the garage there was a balcony with
sliding glass doors.
I'm picturing it. I know that you knew exactly what I said when I said sliding girls. That's
sassy girls.
Yeah, sliding girls. And then above that there was another story with windows. So the top floor was where all of the bedrooms were, and then from the garage you'd walk up these stairs that took you into the kitchen living room area that had a powder room, and then you go upstairs again where the main bedrooms and bathrooms were.
Love that.
Love that. And the reason that the couple decided that they were going to stay in this home after they got married was because, number one, it was super safe. Number two, it was central to both of their jobs and their workout classes and gyms that they went to daily. And number three, it was easily affordable with both of their incomes, which allowed them to save tons of money for their upgrade when it came time to have a child together. It was something that the couple had already began planning, especially because one of Sherri's sisters had just had a baby. Aww. Right around the time they got married. So
auntie life.
Yeah, and that Christmas was the first Christmas with the new baby. And there's home videos that I saw on 2020 with both of them freaking out. They were smitten over this baby.
Oh,
the baby fever.
If my sister hears this, she better get her fucking ass home for Christmas.
That's all we're saying. That's all we're saying.
Sorry,
Marley. I know
that you can have your own because you're your own family across the country.
Of course.
But sorry.
Come on. Right.
Just
exactly.
Once.
Just
First
one time. Come on. So the baby fever was at an all-time high, because could you imagine a baby at Christmas and you get to be a part of it from front to back? This gnat is going to be the death of me.
There's two of them.
I'm going to freak out. So Christmas 1985, right after a month after they got married, baby fever all-time high. Fast forward to February of 1986. John and Sherri had been married for about 3 months at this point, and on the 7th of that month, February, they celebrated Sherri's 29th birthday. And then on Sunday, the 23rd of February, Sherri and her sister Teresa, along with Teresa's husband Brian, went to go spend the afternoon together because John was working. So they went and they played mini golf, and they just had a beautiful day together before Sherri returned returned home when like John got home around the same exact time. They had dinner together, and then like they were like, should we go see a movie? Let's go catch the last movie of the night. So they go and catch the last movie of the night, meaning that they didn't get home until really late. They got ready for bed, climbed in, and they're just kind of like chatting about their days and what the plans were for the upcoming week. And during this time, Sherri tells John about this quote unquote motivational HR speech that she's going to have to give at work the next day, so on Monday. And this was nothing new for Sherri. She was known for her professionalism and for her dedication to her job. She was highly regarded by any and everyone that has come into contact with her in her field. And Sherri had this way with words, being an incredibly talented lecturer, which is why she had traveled around the country to speak at various medical conferences as a leader in her field. However, this speech that she was asked to give, this motivational speech that she had to give on a Monday morning, was different. It was a managerial tactic that her higher ups scheduled for her to do in order to help with some small issues that were going on within her department. And Sherri was like super annoyed by this very corporate move from her higher ups, like just classic bullshit from the people that haven't even stepped foot in her side of the hospital in 10 years, unless someone they love is in there. So she was honestly like, fuck it, I'm just calling in. So
love her.
John was, of course, in full support of his woman, and they made a plan. In the morning, whenever he woke up for work, he would wake up Sherri, and she would get up, call in, and be like, oh my God, I gotta call in sick, blaming it on the fact that she had thrown at her back. That this really did happen. So that morning before she went and played mini golf, she was in an aerobics class and she threw out her back and it was bothering her, and it didn't help that she went and played fucking mini golf.
Right.
And then sat in a movie theater chair for 2 hours.
And the old chairs.
Yeah, babes, I know your back was killing you. I'm sure it was more than just an excuse at that point. So she like blames it on this injury that she had, but she just like didn't want to give this bullshit speech to her peers that was assigned to her to give, you know. Either way, Sherri and John go to sleep, and the next morning, Monday, February 24th, 1986.
Only the best day of the year.
Right. Sherri and John wake up. Sherri gets up. She calls into work while John's getting ready for his day of work. Sherri climbs back up into the bed. John kisses her goodbye as she is like cuddling up with their pillows and their big comforter. And he heads out the door to go to work, locking the door behind him at 7:20. At around 9:45 a.m., Connie, Sherri's little sister, picks up the phone and calls the hospital where Sherri works. This was a ritual for the two of them. They had this like 15-minute catch up every single morning, but when Connie calls the hospital, they're like, oh no, Sherri called in sick today. So she calls Sherri and John's house. No answer. Connie picks up the phone again and immediately calls John's office. John fills in Connie on the scheme that they've got going on and is like, look, she had a back injury. She went golfing. Right. She had to give the speech. It was bullshit. She didn't want to do it. So here's the truth. And they just kind of giggle about it and hang up. But John says like, look, I'm going to call her. And if the answering machine's on means she's left. So I'll leave a message if that's the case. If not, she probably just fell back asleep and she'll call us back later. Now at this point, it was 10 a.m. John hangs up with Connie and he calls his house phone. But there's no answer. And the voicemail machine's not on. So he's like, she's definitely asleep. And I would be too, queen. Now, this would be the first of several unanswered calls that John made home to Sherri that day. He assumed that when Sherri woke up, she called Connie and then maybe decided to go work out or go run some errands or something with her day off. So he wasn't like super concerned or worried at all. Now, fast forward to 6:45 p.m. John arrives home at his and Sherri's condo after work. And from the moment he pulled into that driveway, he knew something was wrong. First thing he noticed was the fact that the garage door was wide open and Sherri's brand new BMW was nowhere to be seen. This car was Sherri's baby, as it was an engagement gift along with her ring from John to her.
Shut up.
I'm not lying. Iconic.
Damn.
Not to mention the fact that they use their garage.
Where did we go wrong?
No, what happened? I'm sorry.
Not that our rings are beautiful.
I mean, rings are stunning.
A car would have been cool.
That would have been really sick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I can't even handle the way you're sitting, Taylar.
I look like a rat.
It's like your right leg is facing forward, like your body's facing forward, totally, and this leg is making your body look like it's like angled like I am.
Yeah,
but your other leg is going straight. I took a picture because I'm like, that doesn't even look natural.
It looks like I look like a chicken.
No, it looks crazy.
I need another drink of Jesus's water.
I don't even like, for a second I thought that your leg, like that was this leg. Like it really took me a second to like really look at it. And I'm like, I have no idea how she's doing that.
I have no idea how she's sitting like a chicken right now. Well, my hips feel great.
Well, good.
That's good.
But a car would have been cool. So
a car would have been really nice, you know. Either way, this is her baby. It was their engagement gift. Okay. Not to mention the fact that they used their garage as storage. So like there was tons of important and valuable shit inside of that garage. Like there was just no way Sherri would have left the garage door open without, or left without shutting it behind her. But you know, he's kind of like, maybe she didn't realize it. Maybe there was something blocking it. You know, I don't know if they had sensors back. Doubt it.
That's like if you ever know my house is in the garage door's open and I'm missing, something went wrong.
So something went very wrong. But like he's thinking, okay, maybe it just like bounced back up. There was no sensors. Sensors didn't exist in the 80s on there, right? No.
I mean, I don't know.
Maybe.
Probably not on
the everyday house. You know what I mean? So he pulls in and he's looking at this. And as he's observing this, he kind of pulls up into the driveway. He doesn't go too far because right in front of the garage where he'd have to pull in to park his car, because it was a 2-car garage, there's shattered glass everywhere. So he gets out and he looks up, and that sliding glass door on the balcony on the second floor was just in pieces.
Oh my God.
His heart sinks. He runs up through the garage to the front door that's inside the garage, and he pretty much just pushes the door open because it's not only unlocked, but it's unlatched. He begins calling out for Sherri, scanning around the condo with his eyes frantically, and the condo is a wreck. John's brand new speakers were in a pile by the door, knocked over. Glasses were shattered inside and out. Drawers had been pulled out and ransacked, and even their credenza had been knocked on its side. And then he finally spots Sherri.
No.
She was lying in the living room floor, still in her robe and nightgown from when he last saw her that morning, sprawled out in a pool of her own blood. Very obviously dead. John begins screaming in horror, begging Sherri to call back to him, to move, to breathe. John was in shock as he turned around and began stumbling his way out of their condo, when his eyes landed on something that made his stomach sink even more than it already was. It was their condo's panic button, and right beside it on the wall was a bloody handprint.
Oh my God, that made me sick.
It sank in. Sherri had fought incredibly hard for her life, and he had to continue to fight for her right then and there. Still in complete shock, he busts out of the condo and rushes over to their neighbor's door, frantically banging on it and screaming for help. The neighbor immediately calls 911, who arrived just minutes later. First responders declared she just turned 29-year-old Sherri Rasmussen dead upon arrival, and the homicide unit took over.
Why don't we have panic buttons in every house?
Why not?
Like today, where are they?
I don't know.
Why did we get rid of that?
I don't know. Like we had them in our apartment, didn't we?
I don't think so.
Oh, I had it at Corey Trail. I remember having one there, but that was it.
I don't think I've ever had one.
I had that one at Corey Trail, and I had to put a freaking box over it because we just almost hit it every day.
Yeah, like I feel like that's okay to put a box over it.
Yeah.
Like, but every house should have a panic button wired to 911.
Exactly.
That pings their location and
tells you the address to come to.
I need help ASAP.
Right now. Exactly. LAPD detective Lyle Mayer was appointed lead on Sherri's case and began analyzing the crime scene with his team. They determined that Sherri had been shot 3 times, twice in the chest and once in the abdomen. There were signs of blunt force trauma to her head that looked as if she had been hit with the muzzle of a gun. She had ligature marks on her wrist, indicating that she had been bound or attempted to have been bound at some point during the attack, but the bindings had been removed by her attacker before they fled. And just as John had suspected after seeing that bloody handprint by the panic button, it was clear to investigators that Sherri had put up a major fight for her life, giving her attacker a run for their money, because Sherri had extensive defensive wounds on her arms, hands, and face, in addition to the struggle that was evident in the living room with the furniture being flipped over and moved, lamps and vases being shattered, and the chaotic blood splatter that was around it. And lastly, detectives discovered that the gun had been fired through a quilted blanket found in the living room nearby Sherri's body, probably used to muffle the sound in an attempt to not alert the neighbors, who surprisingly did not report hearing really anything that day. However, they did notice that some things were off. According to interviews conducted by detectives of those who were around the condo that day, at 9:45 a.m., which was the same time that Connie had first called the hospital to get a hold of Sherri and then found out that she had called out, one of the neighbors noticed that Sherri's garage door was left open, but her car was not inside of it. Then, as we know, 15 minutes later at 10 a.m., John calls home. He gets no answer from Sherri. Next, sometime around noon, two men who were landscapers in the condo gated community knocked on the door of one of Sherri and John's neighbors, giving the neighbor and her husband, who were both home, a purse that they had found in their flower bed, which later turned out to be Sherri Rasmussen's. And lastly, detectives got a statement from a housekeeper of a neighbor who was cleaning at around 12:30 in the afternoon that day when she recalled hearing two people fighting and then what sounded like glass shattering. However, knowing the timeline of the purse and the garage and the missing car and the calling from Connie and John, investigators do not believe that this was connected to Sherri's case. Either way, though, they also immediately brought John in to interview him. And the first thing that they did was ask him, like, what were you doing and where were you at that day? John explains everything I told you about the night before and then the morning of, about how he left the house at 7:20, as he did pretty much every single morning. On his way to the office, he dropped off some laundry at the dry cleaners, like for his suits and stuff, and then he sat down at his desk just before 8 a.m. He was at work all day that day until around quitting time, 5 o'clock. That's when he left his office. He ran to the store to pick up some groceries and other things that he needed. And then he swung by the dry cleaners to pick up the things that he had dropped off that morning, getting him home, as we know, at around 6:45 p.m. All of this was confirmed by John's coworkers, people from the grocery store and the dry cleaners. So his alibi was solid, allowing investigators to very quickly rule him out as a suspect and move on, which they pretty much had already decided really before they even got him into the interview room, which, like I said, was right after they discovered her body, because the lead detective, Lyle Mayer, as I told you before, along with the other investigators on the team, really felt like they were able to read this crime scene well enough to assume that this was not a personal crime of passion. To them, it looked more like just a burglary gone wrong. Detective Mayer believed that this was the doing of a robber that had cased Sherri and John's condo, probably got familiar with their schedule, observed them for a few weeks, not, on weekdays and stuff, who realized, like, okay, on the majority of weekdays, both John and Sherri are out of the house by 9 a.m., making their condo a very easy target. The burglars probably broke in, not really realizing that Sherri was upstairs still asleep in her bed soon after, either 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., and began going through the house, collecting valuable things, such as the speakers that were stacked up, and piling all of these things by the door. At some point, Sherri hears a commotion, wakes up, and begins to go downstairs to see what the fuck is going on when she walks in on the robbery taking place, at which point she was probably attacked because they weren't expecting anyone to be there, so they probably didn't have on any mask or anything. Once the suspect got control over Sherri, they probably shot her to death in the chaos and panicked, abandoning the speakers that they had stacked by the door and grabbing Sherri's keys and purse to run out into the garage, jump in her car, and leave, and then realizing, like, all right, I gotta get rid of this fucking purse, so they threw it out just a few doors down. It was the only thing that honestly made sense to these investigators and really John, because there was literally no one that he could think of that would want his wife dead. He named off a few people that she had like a tiff or two with, mostly nurses at her job that had either been, disciplined by her or fired by her, or just like some regular workplace drama, but no one that he could think of that would want to brutally murder his wife. Now, there was one more injury that was found on Sherri's body that doesn't necessarily align with a burglary gone wrong. This is something a little more personal, and it was a bite mark on Sherri's arm. Investigators took this more as a defense tactic from Sherri's attacker, assuming that maybe she got control over the attacker at some point and they bit her as a way to, gain control once again over her. They swabbed this bite for saliva, hoping that it could be used for DNA testing because though it was really, really new at the time, it was up and coming. But other than Sherri's purse that was found in the neighbor's flower bed and her BMW that was nowhere to be found, there was one other thing missing from the home. The second piece of evidence that goes against the theory of this being a burglary gone wrong was an odd one, to say the least. Something that Sherri's attacker, this burglar, would have to really search for. It was John and Sherri's marriage license.
Oh, that's fucking weird.
It had been stolen out of a filing cabinet or like a junk drawer that they kept all of their personal files in, like their birth certificates or social security cards, so on and so forth. So you're telling me this burglar goes to this filing cabinet, sees birth certificates and social security cards, and is like, actually, no, I want the marriage license that doesn't allow me to steal their identity, doesn't allow to sell me their money, doesn't
I can't do anything with it.
I cannot do literally any. It has no meaning, to be quite honest, other than to get my fucking name changed, which Sherri never even did. Mm-hmm. This was a super common crime that people would just steal other people's social security card, take their identity, and just like run up a fucking check.
Right.
It happened to my mom.
Right.
Especially during this time in the 80s and the 90s. They decided to leave all of that valuable shit behind, including the speakers, and only take a useless marriage license. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, that's weird.
That's weird. Red
jealousy
flag
or something.
Now, when Sherri's parents flew in from Arizona, where they were living at the time of her murder, the second they had boots on the ground, Nels, Sherri's dad, was up the detectives' assholes.
Good.
And he never once left their assholes.
Good.
You can trust and believe that. He made me cry like a fucking baby in every interview I saw of him, ever. He got as much information as possible about the murder of his daughter and told the investigators every single thing that he and his wife and their daughters knew about Sherri's life. And when the detectives told him about their theories of this being a burglary gone wrong, as much as he wanted to believe it himself, because who would ever want to think that your daughter was intentionally murdered and targeted for a murder? Nels knew that that was absolutely not the case. This was not a burglary gone wrong. He felt it in his soul. Nels chose this specific gated community for his daughter to purchase her condo in because of how safe it was. It had security. It was a tight-knit community. It was people that were her age. It was older people that were home. It was a variety of people. And it made no sense to him or anyone why the only things that would be stolen from the home was Sherri's car and her and John's marriage certificate or license, because literally right beside the filing cabinet or, junk drawer, whatever, because the reports differ, was Sherri's fucking jewelry box. It had her engagement ring in it. It had her wedding ring in it. It had every necklace, gold, jewel that you could ever think of in that. Why would they not take that?
Right.
It made no sense. And this person didn't even keep her wallet, which had cash in it. They threw it out the fucking window. Nels, Loretta, Teresa, and Connie sat down with investigators and listed off every single person that they could even possibly think of that would target Sherri. They walked through every single move she had made and thing that she had done in the months and weeks and days leading up to her murder, because that's how often they talked. Every single day about every detail of their lives. This is how close-knit this family was. They told Detective Meyer or whatever his name is, about the same co-workers that John had mentioned that Sherri had some tiffs with and drama with, whatever. And then they told him about some encounters that Sherri had had recently that had been scaring her. According to Sherri's family, she had told them on multiple occasions, spanning from the very beginning of her and John's relationship, about an ex of John's that she called crazy. She had detailed several times, spanning from their engagement until just weeks before her murder, that this ex had shown up to their apartment or condo unannounced, uninvited, and each time it got more and more unnerving. And it all came to a head just before John and Sherri's wedding in November of 1985, just 3 months prior to her murder, when this ex shows up at Sherri's work, telling Sherri that things between her and John were absolutely not over. And when Sherri's like, dude, you need to get a life and you need to leave because I'm legitimately at fucking work, number one. The ex did leave, but only after saying, if I can't have John, then no one can.
Whoa.
Scary. When she confronted John, because obviously first thing she does, go home.
Yeah,
John,
what the fuck was that about?
Fuck is this and what is she talking about? John very confidently told Sherri that no, he was absolutely not seeing this woman still because she wasn't even technically an ex of his. They had been friends with benefits in college, and though he had made it very clear to this woman from the jump that their fling was going to be nothing more than just the fling that it was, because they had originally started off as friends in like a big friend group, so it was just going to be a drama thing. So he was like, we will never date. We will fuck if you know and you understand beforehand that this will never be anything more than that. This girlie truly believed that she could win him over, despite the fact that every time she had tried to contact John or just shown up at his and Sherri's place unannounced, he would tell her, like, you need to stop and you need to let it go. Like, we are so far done. Clearly, girl wasn't getting the hint. But Sherri trusted John, and he really was honest in the fact that their relationship, that wasn't even a relationship, was truly over. Well, in the weeks and the days before her death, Sherri told her father, Nels, that she felt like the ex was back because there was kind of this lull between their wedding and her murder. But just weeks before her murder, she calls her dad and it's like, I just feel like she's back doing weird shit, because Sherri would see this woman almost everywhere she went. Either in a car in the parking lot, walking through the grocery store at the same time she was, walking through the hospital, leaving the hospital when she was getting off work, pulling into the hospital when she was walking in. Just seeing her in places that she shouldn't fucking be. Sherri didn't want to give her too much mind though, because that's clearly what this girl wanted, but it was enough to make Sherri semi-fearful again. Hearing this was concerning for investigators, so they asked Sherri's parents and sisters who exactly this ex was, because they 100% needed to talk to this girl, you know? But they said, like, Sherri had mentioned her name before, but they never said her name enough. It was like the ex, you know? So they didn't really know what her name was. However, there was one detail about this woman that her family knew. That being that this ex, the stalker crazy ex, was an LAPD officer.
My God, you're kidding me.
I'm not kidding you. So investigators take this information back to John. And they are low-key like, bro, what the fuck? Why did you not mention this stalker crazy ex of yours?
He's probably working your case right now.
But John was like, yeah, that bitch is crazy, but she's like a cop. She's not a murderer. And plus, like, we haven't had any run-ins with her since before the wedding, because he didn't even know about what Sherri was telling her dad about seeing this woman everywhere. She never even brought it up to him because she was so over this girl. He lays out the entire situation for the detectives. He explains that both him and this girl went to UCLA together. She played junior varsity women's basketball there, and they ran with like the same friend group.
Basketball crowd, yeah.
And the two of them got close and would often like work out, study, and party together, which led them to casually hooking up every now and again. But after graduation, he began working as a hard drive manufacturer for Micropolis. It's like Micropolis. I don't know how to say it for some reason. Micropolis. Thank God. Thank you. And she went through the LA Police Academy. So they didn't really see much of each other, and they didn't really have much in common anymore. They would occasionally leak up for like coffee or dinner or like a booty call for each other, but it wasn't an exclusive relationship by any means in the entirety that it was. And she did reach out to him around the time that he first met and began dating Sherri. Like, I think she threw him a surprise birthday party.
Oh.
And he was like, yeah, I'm not coming. I'm with my girlfriend. So that's how she learned about Sherri, at which point she seems to become even more obsessed and in love with him, desperately wanting him to give her a chance before he goes forward with Sherri.
What year are we in again?
This is 1984 that they met. They got married in 1985, and then she was murdered in 1986. So this is like a 3-year time.
Female cop in 86 is actually
it's a big deal. She was like one of the first ever. I think 1983 she became a cop with the LAPD.
Wow.
So like it was a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
It was a really big deal. I think she was like one of 5 women that are like still with the force up until retirement.
Wow.
that joined at that time. Either way, he's head over heels with Sherri. So he tells this woman from the jump, like, look, I've told you this from the beginning. We are only going to be friends. I'm not coming to this party. I'm not giving you a chance. I love Sherri. Like, I thought we had an agreement. And with that, meaning like them being friends, being the only way that she could still have John in her life, she told him that she would be okay with that and she would accept it. But right after he and Sherri got engaged and moved into Sherri's condo together, this girl just shows up unannounced. She said that she was trying to contact him, trying to call him, couldn't get a hold of him because he had moved, and he was the only person that she knew that could wax her skis the way that she liked them to be waxed. So she just wanted to stop by and see if he would do it for her.
Oh, like legit wax the skis. That's not a sexual.
No, that is legit. Like, she brought skis to their condo, knocked on the door and said, will you wax my skis for me?
I was thinking like he could the only one that can wax my skis.
I can whack my skis. Yeah, exactly. So both Sherri and John, who were there at this point in time when she came with the skis, played it semi-cool. This was the first time that Sherri was ever introduced to this woman. But it got weird a few days later when the woman waited for John to be at work before she pulled up at their condo front door again in full LAPD uniform to pick up the skis from Sherri. And obviously we know what comes after that according to the conversations that Sherri had had with her parents and sisters. So John tells all of this to detectives and they scope out this lead, but they determined that this woman had nothing to do with Sherri's death, and investigators collected the names and contact information for all of Sherri's close friends and co-workers from John and her family. They continued on making their rounds, interviewing each and every one of these individuals, but there was really nothing that they could dig up that would support that Sherri's murder was anything more than just a burglary gone wrong. At this point, a week had gone by when two major things happened in the case that only cemented Detective Mayer's beliefs of his initial theory of this being a burglary gone wrong. First, Sherri's BMW was found in the same area of LA where her and John's condo was located, and it was parked on the street, unlocked with the keys in the ignition, though they were able to pull several fingerprints from it, including like full-blown fingerprints. They also got like a spot of blood and a strand of brown hair, but it did not yield any new information or evidence as all of these findings belonged to Sherri. And literally within hours of this discovery, another report came in about another break-in in the same gated condo community in the early morning hours, like 8 to 9 a.m. after the homeowners had gone to work. And this was like an armed robbery. And these men had been spotted that had done this. And so they were repeat offenders that had been breaking into several homes in the weeks and months before and after Sherri's murder. But what was interesting is that on one documented occasion, these two men had been caught by a woman who was at home sick from work, just like Sherri. And they did attack her. They tied her up and they attacked her. However, they did not kill her. The woman survived and described the two men as carrying a .38 caliber gun, which matched the bullets that experts believe Sherri was killed with. Some reports say that the bullets that killed Sherri were Federal Ammo brand 38J plus P bullets, whatever that means, but essentially they're compatible with a .38 caliber gun. The two suspects in these serial break-ins and an attack of that woman remained at large, with investigators fully diving into searching for these two men, naming them the primary suspects in Sherri's murder. The Rasmussens put out a large reward for any information that would lead to the arrest of their daughter's murderer, and the clock just kept ticking. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, and months turned into years, with Sherri's case getting colder and colder. John moved back to his hometown of San Diego, quitting his job, trying to heal by starting over in his hometown, staying close with Sherri's family, and keeping up with any developments in his late wife's case, if any at all. And eventually, he got remarried. Detectives moved on to bigger cases that plagued the LA area in the years to follow, all of which we know plenty about. But as for Sherri's family, time stood still. They wanted and they needed answers. Over the years, Sherri's father, Nels, pleaded with investigators to take a second look, telling everyone and anyone that he truly did not believe this was just a burglary gone wrong, begging newspapers and reporters to keep Sherri's name in the media, and even doing several interviews and segments on true crime shows that were going on at the time just to keep Sherri's case alive. Nels constantly brought up the fact that Sherri's killer made the conscious decision to use that quilt to muffle the sound of the gun firing, indicating to him him that Sherri's murder was premeditated and not the result of a struggle after she caught this killer in the act of robbing her. Nels knew his daughter was the target. He just needed investigators to realize that too. He literally called them weekly, at which point they got fed up and they told him that he watches, quote, too much television. Eventually, Detective Meyer retired and Sherri's case was assigned to a new detective, who Nels immediately contacted. But the new detective told Nels that the case file was essentially so out of whack and huge that he truly did not believe any new leads would come from it. Nels was livid, even offering in 1993 to pay out of pocket himself for DNA testing to be performed on the swabs taken from the bite mark found on his daughter's arm. Yet he was told that they could not move forward with testing unless they had a suspect to compare the DNA to. It was letdown after letdown for Sherri's family. Until 1998. When DNA technology had advanced enough that police departments across the United States began forming cold case units. And so did the LAPD, which is when Sherri's case landed in the hands of a woman who saw the case for what it truly was, which is where we're going to pick up next week on episode possibly 216, because I have no fucking idea.
I love that it's in the hands of a woman right now.
I know.
How fitting.
Yeah. She let me give you the spoiler. She cracks the case wide open and doesn't even get the recognition from it.
Oh.
Yeah.
No surprise
But
there.
don't worry, we are giving her the recognition today.
This is so weird because, one, terrible, tragic case, but remember when you picked a birthday case?
Yeah.
Like recently?
Yeah,
and
like
now
I picked 4 back to back.
She's my birthday and then reopen in my birth year?
1998.
Weird. The numerology there.
Valerie? Yeah. Valerie.
Wow.
Susan.
Well, that was good. It really pisses me off that they're letting it go cold. I mean, I know that they have no leads, but that the family, specifically her dad, is having to fight tooth and fucking nail just to prove that it wasn't a robbery gone wrong whenever there is literally no signs of a fucking robbery. They took nothing of value.
And here's another thing that, oh my God, it's going to make me cry so hard. Her dad pre-recorded statements.
Oh my God.
Every year. For himself that he was like alive, like past, once he got old enough, out of fear that he would be dead because he knew her case would get solved.
Advocate for
and
her.
He wanted to make sure that his statement would be used in a trial and that his testimony would be ready and available when needed, just in case something ever happened to him.
Wow. Loves him, baby girl.
My God. Like, fucks me up.
Yeah,
I really
that's
can't.
Terrible.
Yeah, so me and Logan were watching this case on 2020 the other night. That's how I found it. Logan's not into true crime at all. Like, doesn't even want to have a conversation about it. Like,
select few.
When I want to like talk through a case and like really need him or just someone to listen to me, I have to call Arletta because I can't spoil it for Morgan, but sometimes, I need someone to like hear how I'm telling it and tell me if there's another way that would sound better for someone who doesn't know it. Logan can't even listen to that because it like really upsets him. This case is on 2020 when we're decorating our house for Christmas. And I'm just listening to it. And I told him, like, you can go upstairs and play your video games. I don't give a shit. I'm going to finish this case. Like, please get the hell out of here and let me finish decorating.
Focus.
Yeah, I got to be doing this shit. He's like, okay. So he goes upstairs and he comes down like after a commercial break. And he's like, I mean, I've listened to so much of this episode already. Like, I might as well just finish the case. I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely covering it.
Yeah.
For Logan to be bought in, I'm definitely covering this case right now because that's got to be a sign that this needed to be told. And it's your birthday. Like when I heard
that's
your
weird,
birthday on it, the fuck?
That's weird.
Yeah.
Should we not turn 27?
No, that's like my golden year. That's my golden year.
Okay. Well, not mine. Mine was 3 years ago.
Yeah. I really like 27.
It's a cool little number.
I just think it's cute.
The fact that we're almost 30. Goodbye.
We had just like our babies. We're literal
I don't
children.
feel like I'm fucking 30.
No, I don't feel like I'm late 20s.
Don't ever say that in a sentence to me.
And y'all are like, oh my God. No, look, I'm not opposed to turning 30 at all. Like I'm excited to turn 30, but I just don't feel like I'm about to turn 27.
I don't feel like an adult yet.
No, I really don't.
When does that happen? I'm married and I still don't feel like one.
I really don't think you ever feel like an adult. Like, I really don't think that, like, I always thought growing up that there was going to be this like vast amount of knowledge that just like plopped into my brain at some point.
Yeah.
And that's what makes you an adult.
That's what I thought too.
I thought it would happen like when my frontal lobe developed.
Yeah. Mine's developed.
Mine's
you
here.
You should see me fucking walk ollie now.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so sketched. Like
all the
in
time.
the last like probably 5 months, I'm like, oh, I'm developed.
Yeah. I'm here. I'm conscious. I'll be developed. No, seriously. Like I just thought that when that happened, because I know when I felt it when it happened. It was, I went from living life blissfully to,
oh my God.
oh my God, I got a lot of shit to worry about that I never even thought about worrying about. But I thought like when that came, I would just get this like all-knowing
like the
crown
brain
on
of
my
an
head.
AI.
Yeah, I swear.
That's what I would say.
No, and that's not it. Like that's not the case at all. Like,
yeah, no.
So I truly think, and people that are parents, let me know. I don't think it comes from your parents either. I really don't.
Yeah, because every new parent says like, oh, we're just here fucking figuring
We're just
it out.
figuring this shit out. Like when does it happen?
Like when you're a grandparent? I don't know.
Or do you still not even know what's going on? You just act like it. Like someone be fucking for real with me right now. Tell me the truth.
When do you feel like an adult?
When do you feel like an adult? Because if
35.
It has to be, right?
Like 50?
At that point, what's the point?
Right. Only got a couple more years left.
Yeah, and then
I know you have more than that.
But like what I mean is like you have a couple more years of like caring, to be quite honest, where it's like once you get to a certain point in your life, you can be like, all right, I'm gonna go
17 more years and you're retired.
Yeah, like I'm gonna go fuck around,
hop around the fucking world.
Yeah, I'm gonna go mall walking.
Yeah.
Really, when does it happen?
Yeah, someone let us know,
please. If it's happened to you, fill a bitch in. Let a sister know, because I worry about that every day.
We're worried that we may never feel like that.
Like, really though, like
we pay taxes.
We do. I better believe
We're married.
We're
we
married.
Cook dinner.
We have
we
degrees.
Do laundry.
We
have grease.
We have degrees.
We
literally went to college. We created a business.
We have our own cars.
We vote in elections.
We vote
about our country.
We grocery shop on our own. Like
we
that
grocery shop.
Very adult.
We get stains out of our own clothes.
Well,
we try our best.
We don't separate our whites from our darks.
We never would. We buy our own towels.
Yeah.
That's adult.
That's true.
You're buying your own towels, adult. But like,
you buy holiday decor. Like that.
I own a house. Like,
you own a house.
What am I gonna do with this?
I don't know.
I feel like a little rat that just like
really ratty today. I'm
feeling
there, huh?
pretty ratty. You know what I'm saying? But like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like I'm like a little rodent.
Like, what else is on the to-do list besides have a kid? Really, and retire.
And then
what else? Where in our life besides me? I still have to own a house. That's on my to-do list. But what else is on our to-do list besides have a kid and retire?
I guess deal with a really like sad death.
Okay, why would you even say
because
that?
I'm assuming that makes you more adult.
I've dealt. You have to.
I know, but I'm
knock on wood.
Knock on wood right now. But like what I mean is like like a life altering one. You know what I mean? Like that's really the only other thing that I can think of, like a big life event.
But like that's not a guaranteed life event.
Death is 100% guaranteed.
Not that you would experience it. You could go first.
True.
Do you know what I mean? So like it's not on the list of
like
life event.
Yeah. I mean, is there any goals you want me to
like what
like,
else?
Of course I want to go on like tour and do stuff, but like those are just like minor things.
But when do you feel like
you life altering?
When you look at every human being's life, everybody,
there's a
for
cut
the most
and dry
part,
thing.
You attend school.
Yep.
You're born. You attend school.
Yep.
You go to college or not. If you don't, you go to the workforce.
You just go into the workforce.
You get a job. You get a car. It's the game of fucking life. Ever played it? It is. You get married.
Ever played it?
You have children. Not for everybody.
Not for everyone.
But
you get a pet.
You get a pet.
They die.
You grocery shop. That's not on the game of life. You retire and then you die.
I guess your kids get married.
In the game of life, the only thing you get rich.
That's it. That's the thing.
Get rich.
So after that, we get rich and then we retire. But like, then what?
That's it.
It's a scam.
You travel and then you die.
It's such a scam.
We're literally rats.
We're literally rats.
Yeah, we are. That's so sad.
We're rats.
Well, there's that.
Well, I hope everyone's doing great today.
Hope the election's going well, and
we're all literally rats and there's nothing to live for. Okay, maybe we should leave on a higher note because that's typically not like us. We just had one drink.
I didn't even finish it.
I had 2 glasses. Well, I had a glass and a half.
It started tasting like mildewy to me. I do have my cute little
angel wings and healing thing. Oh, Susan dropped us off.
That's what we'll end with.
That's what we're gonna end on.
Susan and Ellen came by and they dropped us off gifts, and we got shirts.
We did.
We got the Stanleys that you all bitches fought for to win. We didn't have to even try.
We literally didn't have to try. We got koozies and we're gonna wear them soon, but we did request them to be like sleeping shirts, so I don't know if we're gonna be on here. Yeah, but maybe we'll do it one time for Miss Susan next time she comes on.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing, did you guys like that TVB with the Ames? Because I loved it.
Ames.
I love Ames. Am I missing something?
Go post.
Go do that.
Reddit.
You can put your creepy accounts on there. I have been seeing an influx of creepy accounts through the Reddit.
Oh, good. I actually haven't been on in a little bit. I am on a new game kick.
Oh no, what is that?
Solitaire again.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But
that's part of your rotation.
This one's different because
that's part of your game of life.
It has mixed Monopoly into Solitaire. So I'm building things. I'm collecting stickers. I'm rolling the dice. And I'm also playing dominoes. But I'm doing it because I have the app Fetch.
Because you're 87 years old.
Yeah, I know. I have the app Fetch where you like scan receipts and you get points. And I'm really trying to get 50,000 points for a $50 gift card to use for Christmas. It's free $50, right? You don't have to just scan receipts. You can also play games on like trial mode.
Okay.
And they reward you for it. So like once you get to level 25, you get 600 fetch points. Once you get to level like 10,000, it's like 10,000 points. I started this on Sunday. It's Tuesday. I am on level 167.
Do you want to know where?
And it's one of those things where you have to wait for the timer.
You would be so proud of me. Let me tell you what level I'm on my game.
On your brain game?
My other brain game. The 2 dots game.
2 dots.
Not the new one. I'm on level.
If it's lower than 500?
807.
I'm so proud.
807. I played it every day for 807 days. Well, not really like 807, but like I play it every day so I don't miss my streak. And I also do that now on Impulse because I got that to do the IQ test. I still haven't taken the IQ test.
Yeah.
I'm sharpening my brain power before I do it.
Right.
The weed probably doesn't help. The wine definitely doesn't help.
That's water.
Yeah, Jesus water. Yeah. That's what they say. Okay, well, I guess we'll get off of here. Sorry for the existential crisis that did happen on air.
We're rats. That's what we found out.
We're rats and it's a game.
It's a game of life.
I hope we're playing it well.
I hope so too. I hope I'm rolling
witchy.
10s on the spinner.
Oh yeah,
the 10.
Yeah. I was flipping my eyelashes.
Oh, I saw that. I saw the inside of your eye. All right, guys. See you next week.
See you next week. I'm so sweaty. Love you. Goodbye.
Love you. Bye.